and weather together on the 8th. All day, all night. WBBM Chicago.
Nice. It's coming in really good.
Hi there. It's 11 minutes past the hour. Members of St. Sabina Catholic Church are standing by their pastor, Father Michael Flager, and demanding the Archdiocese make changes on how it handles sexual abuse allegations after the priest was accused of wrongdoing, now for the third time.
Remaining unbending in his stance that he is innocent.
Ricky Harris, longtime member of St. Sabina, standing with a couple dozen members defending Father Michael Flager, one saying his spirit has taken a hit. To that he was targeted because of who he is.
The accusation is a lie.
Felisa Chase is a church leader.
A public announcement of the accusation by the Cardinal and the removal of the key priest from his ministry before an investigation is done is unjust and unnecessary.
The allegation in this instance is that a young female parishioner was sexually abused more than 30 years ago, which Father Flager denies. At St. Sabina Church, Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Water officials in West Suburban Cicero say a boil order remains in effect in response to Thursday's water main break that caused water pressure to drop below the required safety level. The affected areas from 24th Place south to Pershing Road between 46th and Lombard Avenues. Crews worked through the night to repair damaged mains, replacing nearly 20 feet of pipe and installing a new valve. Impacted residents are urged to boil tap water to a rolling boil for at least 5 minutes before drinking or using it. Illinois' Secretary of State is warning about a new Ponzi scheme. Alexei Januliev says Brandon Ellington is encouraging would-be investors to liquidate their retirement accounts and take out high-interest loans to invest in his company. The lawsuit contends Ellington promises big returns, but then cuts off contact after a few payments. The state's issued a cease and desist order alleging Ellington is marketing unregistered securities through a website. Ellington, who also goes by the moniker of Mr. Finance, is barred from selling securities across the state. And 2 residents of the Brookfield Zoo celebrated their first birthdays this week. The zoo says Amur leopard cubs Sandy and Lacey are developing their own distinct personalities. One stays close to mom, while the other's a little more independent. Cubs like Sadie and Lacey are key to a worldwide program protecting the Amur leopard population and promoting genetic diversity. We're checking in with AccuWeather coming up next. It's 14 minutes past the hour.
There's Santa here on a long-needed holiday. It's my Christmas in July sale. Don't miss while I'm away. At Tree Time in Lake Barrington, your place for holiday decor. Up to 70% off. Christmas trees, wreaths, garland, and more. It's going on now. Trees and decorations with quality in every detail. Up to 70% off. Now at the Tree Time in Lake Barrington Christmas in July sale.
Everything Christmas, treetime.com.
At 15 minutes past the hour, time for the AccuWeather 5-day forecast, sponsored by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, Sewer, and Electric. Here now is meteorologist Troy Thornton.
An air quality alert continues until midnight Saturday night, but much of the period from now until then does feature improved air quality and visibility as well, and that it does include the overnight, which brings some clouds, but warm and humid conditions, the low 74. Saturday does bring sun much of the time. It's a hot and humid day, but watch for an afternoon thunderstorm after a high close to 90, leading to a generally clear Saturday night as that smoke starts to filter back in with a low of 67, followed by a less humid day on Sunday. Not bad except for that haze around, with some clouds at times and a high of 85. Monday brings some sunshine at times. Expect a warm and humid day with a gusty thunderstorm for the afternoon, the high 88. And not as warm for Tuesday with some sun, perhaps a shower as well, high 84. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Troy Thornton.
Now at 16 minutes past the hour, let's check in on sports. The White Sox were in Toronto facing the Blue Jays, blast them out of the park 12-4, defeating the Blue Jays. Meantime, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Minnesota Twins. Didn't end well for them. Twins get the better of Chicago 5-2. In NBA action, the Bulls fell to Cleveland 100-91 in Summer League action. And in WNBA action, the Chicago Sky defeats Los Angeles 96-82. And with more sports, here's Rick Gregg.
And off they go. Baseball's second half is underway. Craig Counsell.
I mean, I always say this, our record's our record, and that's, I think we've put together a pretty darn good record, whether I think it's like 5th or 6th best in baseball. But the nature of baseball is that doesn't really guarantee you anything. So we've got work to do here over the last 70-ish games.
The Cubs start that work at home, where this weekend they're also both kicking off a year's worth of All-Star game prep and welcoming back those 2016 World Series winners 10 years on. The White Sox are in Toronto all weekend. Fellow AL Central challenger Cleveland will try to play a split doubleheader with Pittsburgh on Saturday. Friday's game called off due to smoke in Ohio from Canada, not the Cuyahoga. 2 record-tying rounds at the British Open. Lucas Herbert and Sam Burns both shot 62 in round 2 at Royal Birkdale, equaling the best number ever fired in a men's major. Herbert's got a 2-shot lead as a result, 8 under par. First-round leader Jackson Suber and 2 others tied in second. Then Burns and 2 more, 3 shots back. Sky GM Jeff Pagliacca says the team has given up on practicing at its still under-construction building in Bedford Park this season. The new target date, November, which would be a year behind schedule all told. The union isn't happy. A statement from the executive director says team ownership still doesn't know how to properly support pro athletes. NFL players, including Caleb Williams, took to social media to implore team owners to keep grass in the artificial turf stadiums and installed the real thing just for the World Cup. The hashtag worth the cost. With sports 16 and 46 past each hour, Rick Gregg, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Somewhere there's a river rushing through the woods while someone rushes through their day. There's a mountain looking up at the sky while someone looks down.
It is 1:17 here in Texas and Chicago and every other state in the same time zone.